And welcome to Wired. Today we are talking to insurance broker Henry Clarke from Clarke Williams Limited. Henry is one of the founding partners along with Scott Williams, his brother. They typically visit all of their clients to understand exactly how they or their business operates and conduct a full review of their insurance exposures to make sure the terms that they offer are tailored to their exact needs. Today we will be discussing the typical requirements of an insurance company for fire and security measures. So thank you very much for joining us today, Henry. We've got a few questions to ask you. Firstly, how do insurers assess the level of risk to determine the type and level of security features a customer might require?
Well, insurers look at various factors when assessing the type of security a risk will require. This is normally based on three main areas. Normally, location. Is the risk located in a high street or industrial site? Is there any passing traffic? Would anybody notice if someone were to, for example, burgle the place? All insurers have got their own postcode rating systems in place based on their own internal claims experience and local crime reports. And they take into consideration, is there site security, CCTV, fences? They also look at what the business actually does. Right. Are they attracting the right type of customer? Are they going to be attracting morally correct customers in there? And what kind of stock are they going to have in place? Is that stock going to be theft attractive? Is it going to be highly flammable? All of these things have various factors into how an insurer actually reviews what security or fire suppression systems are going to be needed. A warehouse full of carpets is less likely to be targeted than a computer wholesaler, and a bed and mattress retailer is less likely to suffer a major fire loss compared to a food wholesaler. They also look at how long a business has actually been trading for. Well-established businesses with clean records will be assessed in a very different manner compared to a new venture. The insurer wants to see that there is an established history in which to base their terms. All of these factors bear influence on whether or not a risk can benefit purely from the physical security that's there, or whether they need additional security such as an alarm, fire suppression, or more increased physical security like metal bars or roller shutters. For alarm systems, most insurers operate on a postcode rating system versus stock sum insured system, which can be a little bit tricky for customers and for clients to get their head around how this is actually affecting them, because they may only increase the stock sums by a small amount and then suddenly be lumped with massive alarm requirements.
Right.
So most of the time, this is the job of the insurance broker to come into play to actually provide the insurer with the additional risk information to accept the current security levels. So whether that's, is there someone that's living on site overnight, where the nearest emergency services are located, if you've got a risk that's opposite a police station, obviously the insurer might allow a much higher level of stock sum before they ask for an alarm requirement. So if they're nearby to a fire station, they can get away with sort of different fire suppression systems in place.
So secondly, how can people find out about their responsibilities with regards to insurance and their alarm systems?
When applying for insurance, the client is actually responsible for disclosing all information adequately and correctly, and also complying with any conditions that are applied to their policy. Best practice is to discuss this with your insurer or the broker at time of quoting, and make sure you fully read and understood your policy schedule, which highlights any alarm conditions that may be imposed on your policy. This could actually note whether or not you require an alarm upgrade, or that your alarm must meet certain requirements. There are some fantastic guides to intruder alarms and fire systems on either the Fire Protection Association website or the Fire Industry Association websites to double check that you are fully compliant. This is where I would highly recommend using an insurance broker to look after your business. They'll be able to guide you through the processes and also explain any requirements that would impact you and your business. If you are still unsure about what alarm systems you require, then you should contact your local NSI approved installer or BAFE installer, who can discuss in detail your requirements and what systems you are able to install.
And I'm assuming that that would apply to domestic customers as well.
Applies to both domestic and commercial.
So finally, Henry, what does your firm offer specifically for fire and security advice?
Having dealt with fire and security firms throughout our career, we've made sure that we've partnered ourselves with specialist insurers who run bespoke schemes specifically aimed for the fire and security industry. We've made sure that they offer terms that will include damage to property being worked upon, efficacy cover, which is the failure of a product or service to carry out its intended function. And we've also got the option to include financial loss, the loss of extinguishable gas, loss of keys and certification of works, as well as covering professional indemnity in respect of certification only, as well as covering off where contractors are only commissioning a system or design and construct PI for where contractors are responsible for the design and implementation of any systems. We've endeavoured to visit any potential client so we fully understand their business and provide an insurance solution tailored to their needs.
That's brilliant. So you can kind of demyth some of the jargon that the insurance companies present to the clients.
We run through the policy schedules in detail, run through the endorsements and the wordings, and actually run through what those gradings are. Obviously, we understand them a lot better than they do, and we can actually make sure that they are compliant with those gradings and work in conjunction with their alarm installer or BAFE installer to make sure that they actually are compliant.
And then you're referring to some of the things we've touched on earlier in the series, such as a Grade 2 alarm system or an L1 life cover fire alarm system, for example. Great, which our listeners can obviously find more information about that through the podcast series. I'd like to thank you ever so much for taking the time to talk to us today, and we will hopefully be able to inform the public a little bit more about the insurance industry in relation to fire and security.
Perfect, thank you very much, it's my pleasure.
You're welcome. For more information, please visit www.clarkwilliams.co.uk, that's Clarke with an E, or call 01732 352 898. Their Twitter handle is at CWIB_LTD, or you can follow them on Facebook at Clarke Williams Ltd. You've been listening to Wired.